Good morning, traders. It is Wednesday, May 8th, quarter to 6 a.m. As usual, I'm Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators. Real quick, please push the like button down at the bottom. Give us that thumbs up. Don't forget to do that. And leave any tickers you want me to look at or anything you'd like me to clarify or go over or anything like that down at the bottom in the chat area, in the comments area. I'd appreciate that as well. And let's get started by taking a look at the S&P 500 this morning. And of course, as you probably know, if you bother keeping up on much of anything in the world of finance, there has been a big market correction. Well, it isn't big yet, really, but there has been a significant enough market correction that there's kind of a lot of panic and fear going on right now. And of course, this is being attributed to Trump increasing tariffs and whatnot. Of course, that is just the excuse that the media will use. We've been looking at this for a while and saying, hey, look at this. We are right up here at the absolute tip top of the sell zone. And right now, everything is looking like we need a correction. And hey, what do you know? Big surprise, we got a correction. So now the question becomes, how big of a correction is this going to be? If we do believe that this is the end of wave 5, if we think that this whole thing was, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we are expecting an ABC correction of this entire leg, this entire wave, right? The whole cycle. And so that would bring us down to somewhere, just eyeballing it, somewhere in the 2,700, 2,600 range, somewhere around there. Now, on the other hand, it is also possible that we simply have 1, 2, and this whole thing is 3. In which case, we're looking for an ABC to 4, and then we still have 5 to go. Right now, we don't know which scenario is playing out, but we know either way, we're looking for a correction. It's just a question of how far. So based on using this as the bottom of wave 2, I've done an extension here, and the extension, as you can see, gets us to 2 points of interest, really, to me. The first is this one here, which is our above our 161.8, and this one here, which is actually just above the 261.8. And of course, we are looking for something between those two levels. So that's the question we have to ask ourselves is, which one do we think was the wave 4? Do we think that's the wave 4, or do we think we're in a wave 4 right now? Or do you even think maybe we've had it A, B, C, and you think we're done right here at the 50 SMA? The fact is, we don't know which scenario is the case yet. I mean, we never know with 100% certainty until after the fact. That's trading. That's why there is risk involved in trading. But either way, we knew a correction was due, and right now it is merely a question of how deep is this correction going to go. If in fact I believe that we are at the end of wave 3 here, or wave 3 just ended, then I'm looking for a correction down to somewhere around here. So, call it somewhere between 2,800 and 2,600, somewhere, in there. Now, that's a 200-point range. Certainly, that's a pretty big target area. But the fact is, either way, that we are looking for a move down. So, that's what I'm anticipating. I'm expecting some further follow through. That being said, on the shorter term time frame, at this moment in time, we do have. Let me get back over here. Here we go. We've got downwards pressure happening in the market. We've got some sellers coming in, but we have an oscillator that is trying to get divergent. It is trying to form something a little stronger. It's not confirmed yet. There's still time to go before we've got anything resembling a confirmed divergence happening, but it's shaping up. It's trying to do that. So we'll just have to see what happens this morning after the bell. Right now, the MACD line is below the signal line. Oscillator, of course, is all below the zero line. So the bears are in control right now. And that is what I'm looking for, is for follow through. So if we can make a new lower low, lower than that, then we will be confirmed that, yes, we are, in fact, continuing to the downside, no question. And we can do things like throw a trend line in. Clearly we've got lower lows and lower highs happening here. And we can just expect to ride that to somewhere down in that retracement area. All right, let's take a look at crude oil, and crude has pulled down to the 50 SMA. Much like the S&P, it has pulled right back down to the 50, and right now is holding there. You can see the buyers coming in every time it pokes below that 50. They just come in and shoot it back up again. But the oscillator is below the zero line, so that is potentially bearish. The MACD line is also still below the zero line. The trend has rolled over and is heading down on the 13 EMA. That trend is heading downwards. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if we continue sideways for a little while and maybe the 13 and the 50 meet and kiss, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. Do we get a pullback? Does the trend want to continue? What is the story? Now we are in a bit of a question area here as far as our waves go, because you have to ask yourself, did we get our wave one, wave two already? And then we have, wave three to somewhere in our usual, 161, 261 extension area. And what happened? Or is this whole thing a three? Or did we have one, two, three? We aren't 100% sure, although once again, regardless, we knew that once this had happened, broke that previous higher low, that we were looking for a correction. And at the moment, anyway, it looks like we may have it A, B, C. So it's entirely possible that this correction is done. We'll have to just give it a little chance to settle at this level, to hold and just build up strength for the next push up. And if we get that, then we know what we're looking for here. On the 60-minute, of course, you can draw a trend line. You can see clearly right now making lower lows and lower highs. But recently, the oscillator has been moving up as price has been moving up. So things are looking like they're wanting to head to the upside. If price can head above the zero line there on the oscillator, or excuse me, if the oscillator can get above the zero line, then we are probably looking at a continuation to the upside, at least a bounce like we got when the oscillator got above the zero line here. There was a nice bit of follow through on that. So we'll just have to wait and see what this market gives us on that note, and see if it's ready to go higher. Right now, anyway, the 50 is acting as support. So that is probably a good entry point if you are still bullish on crude overall. Taking a look at gold, well, as I had mentioned on Monday, if the market does in fact sell off, then there's a reasonable chance that we're going to see a bounce in gold if people decide to go to gold as the classical safe haven investment in times of uncertainty and all that good stuff. And sure enough, that's pretty much exactly what we've had. We've had a push upwards in gold. It has bounced higher than the previous lower high, so it's looking like gold is wanting to reverse at this point. So my dreams of hitting that 100% target on this bear flag here, it looks like we're going to stop just a little shy of that. Got pretty close, but not quite to the target. So right now, just need to wait and see what the market does. If the broader market continues to sell off, if that correction continues, as I'm kind of expecting that it likely will, then I wouldn't be surprised to see gold head higher. And, gold has been kind of due for that as well. We have certainly had a correction here. It's looking to me like we've got a one, a two, probably a three, and now a four with an A, B, C. And now we can head upwards to a wave five. So the question will be, is it going to be a full blown wave five and take out, take out that level there? Or will it be a truncated wave five and stop somewhere in that area, somewhere around, 1350, 1360, somewhere right in there? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, we're just looking for a continuation to the upside, follow through to the upside. The oscillator is a little bit weaker than it was back here. So even though price has marched higher, oscillator is weaker. That's a little bit something to watch out for. But the fact is, if the broader market sells off, I'm expecting that to bring the buyers into gold. So I think there's a good chance for a bounce here in gold. All right, natural gas is still just playing around down there in those low levels. Has not really turned around and reversed yet, but it's looking like it could real soon. We have sort of a first bottom and maybe a first higher low even shaping up right there. We'll have to see. Is this a wave one, wave two, and then we have a wave three to the upside? We don't know yet. This is why wave ones are so hard to catch because you don't really know what's going on with them until they happen, until they break and start wave three. So we'll just have to wait and see what occurs here. But it's certainly looking possible. Oscillator is working its way upwards, heading for that zero line. If it can get above that zero line and hold, and price can break this previous lower high, then we might be onto something. And then we'll just have to see it get over the 50. And at that point, there's no question we are probably going to be heading up. And the final straw, of course, will be taking out this level here. And then certainly an uptrend has begun. On the smaller time frame, right now, the oscillator is above the zero line, so that's bullish. MACD line has crossed the signal line and has in fact spiked up. Last couple hours, we've had a strong spike upwards, and it has broken the previous lower high here on this little short-term pattern of lower lows and lower highs. So it's looking potentially bullish here. We just need to see price get over this 13 and hold there. And again, like I mentioned, we ideally take out that level, take out that high right there. If price can do that, then I think a reversal is in order. All right, let's take a peek at Bitcoin now. And Bitcoin, I'm super impressed. I gotta say, with the bulls, they are very determined and they're holding up. In fact, making yet another new recent high the other day. So it's time to start thinking about wave counts. And I'm thinking, we've got our zero down here, which means our one, our two, and now we project for a three. And we're looking at somewhere between the 161.8 and the 261.8, and we are right there right now. So I am definitely leaning towards a pullback coming very soon. Maybe price actually gets up to the 261. Maybe it gives up somewhere right around 6,000. At the moment, 6,000 is certainly acting as a key resistance level. Price couldn't quite get to it. That is a huge psychological level. And notice the price has been pushing upwards. We had one big thrust up, two big thrusts up, three big thrusts up, one, two, three lower peaks on the oscillator. So that is definitely concerning for the short term for the bulls. And then even on the shorter term, we have a push up and a weakening oscillator, which has now fallen back below the zero line, now popped up back above it again. But things are looking like the bulls are not going to be able to hold control of this market for too much longer. So definitely we're looking due for a pullback here very soon. So if in fact we've already gotten our top there, then we can do our retracement, and we can do a retracement of something like this and just say, all right, if this was the top, if we're not going to break 6,000, then we are looking for something between about 5,000 and 4,500 or so. So that was where I was saying before. I would really like to see a retracement come. I would like to see it ideally hold above that 4,500 level. But anywhere down in that range is what we're looking for. As long as it basically stays above this previous 44.15 level or right around there, right, which is the 61.8 really. As long as it holds above there, then we still have higher highs and higher lows happening. And now we just have the correction, and now it's ready for the next big push up. So keep an eye on these levels, see what happens, and trade accordingly. All right, that is it for me this morning. Let's take one last peek at the S&P, and okay, kind of reversing a little bit, trying to on this candle anyway, trying to push it to the upside. We do have a strengthening oscillator. Are the bulls really going to be able to do it though? I don't know. I have my doubts. 13 SMA or 13 EMA rather is still pushing down, acting as resistance right now. We're still below the 50 on the shorter term, but on the longer term, we're right at the 50 and even bounced off of it. So definitely a little bit of a transitional moment here because we've got conflicting messages. We're showing support holding and on the daily, and that's potentially bullish, but we're showing support has failed, and the 50 is above overhead, above price right now on the shorter term. So a little bit of a mixed message, mixed bag right now, but certainly if this MACD line can get below the zero line and the oscillator can get below the zero line, then no question the bears have wrestled control from the bulls who have been in charge since all the way back here. And then the proper correction is definitely in force. So watch out for that. Okay, gang, that's it from me this morning. Jonathan Van Clute with Stock Navigators. I'm going to go get ready for our premium trading room this morning. So, those of you who will be there, I will see you in the room momentarily. For everybody else, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press that like button. Give us that thumbs up. And for future reference, throw anything down in the comments that you want to see, talk about, question, get help with, tickers you want analyzed, anything like that. Toss them down there, and I will gladly take a look at them for you. All right, that is all. Take care until Friday. Bye-bye.